Registrar General, the Clerk of the Senate. Honorable Clerk, if these are the recommendations you are approving, then please don't use this house as a conveyor belt. You bring documents and you file for us to discuss like I do not know what it is. Just because you print English, we read it. We will not allow that. We have come of age and some of the recommendations I'm seeing here are a reflection of a joke. How can a committee spend more than 3 hours or 3 days on the same report and the recommendations you are getting, they are tattered all over, not organized. When people have been schooled, they have been taken for training, refresh again and again. We have talked about recommendations. Honorable members, without 3 recommendations, this paper is very useful for packaging jugu. So you are reducing us to producing waste paper to wrap mandazi. That is not why we are here. The work of the committee and the energies they put, particularly PAC, should be taken seriously. Or otherwise, if the committee clerk has challenges, should ask for support. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. The report of the Committee on Water Irrigation and Sanitation on the implementation status of County Assembly resolutions of the Third Assembly.
Chairperson of the order.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Water, Irrigation and Sanitation on the implementation status of County Assembly resolutions on the Third Assembly laid on the table of the Assembly on 27th August 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move straight to the executive summary, if allowed, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders 204, within 60 days of the resolution of a County Assembly or adoption of a report, a select committee, the relevant County Assembly committee member, and a host portfolio, the implementation of the solution force shall provide a report on the relevant committee of the County Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, within September 2022 to June 2024, the following reports were considered, adopted by the Assembly, and forwarded to the relevant departments of the County Executive for information, all for action. Mr. Speaker, sir, these were the committee findings and observations. The committee made the following observations, all findings, that most of the recommendations in the resolutions made by the County Assembly under the said reports were partially implemented by the department, under whose portfolio the implementation of the resolution falls. And these were as follows. 1. The report of the Committee on Consideration of the Public Petition regarding interference with the Sorolo Water Project and the Ileli water source by a private developer in Nizawi Kilili Kalamba Ward was partially implemented because the funds which were allocated in the budget for the financial year 2023-2024 were reallocated during the consideration of the financial year 2023-2024 supplementary budget. Thus, without a budget, the department was not able to implement the resolution. 2. The report of the Committee on Consideration of Implementation of County Assembly Resolutions for the Second Assembly 2017 to 2022 under the Department of Water and Sanitation was partially implemented. For example, the department through Makueni County Public Service Board recruited 4 engineers, 3 ward water officers, geologists. However, director has not been recruited. The department, despite being underfunded and allocated 5 million shillings in the financial year 2023-2024 budget towards implementation of key items in the Makueni County Water Act 2020, but the funds were reallocated to fund other projects or programs. 3. The report of the Committee on the site visit conducted regarding short works done at Kiuani Water Project in Emali Molala Ward was partially implemented because no funds were allocated for the implementation of this project. 4. The report of the Committee on the lack of sewerage system in Sultan Hamud in Kaskel Ward was implemented as the development plan for Emali Sultan Hamud municipality was developed by the Department of Lands and approved by the County Assembly in March 2024. And further, 3 million shillings has been allocated in the financial year 2024-2025 budget estimates for rehabilitation of DTF in Sultan Hamud Town. 5. The report of the Committee on the Consideration of the Financial Year 2023-2024 Departmental Work Plan of the Water and Sanitation Department was implemented as the department has ensured water projects have been implemented in the financial year which they were budgeted. The committee and a joint consultative meeting with the department and carried out a review of the proposed amendments on the Makueni County Water Act 2020 before submission to the County Assembly, and that the department finalized the drafting.
Honorable Chair.
Yes, sir.
Now that you're a teacher, allow me to borrow skills of my teacher.
I read the summary.
No. If you proceed with that motion, we will end up seconding the motion. We will debate, but we will vote to nothing.
Let me read the summary, sir.
No. The motion as it is, even if we vote on it, it is a motion to report on status of the implementation of recommendations.
Yes, sir.
But nothing has happened to the recommendations. So this is a summary of all recommendations. As they were, for example, 6 months ago, the recommendation was that the report of the Committee on Consideration of Public Petition regarding interference with the Solo Law, and the date report passed was 13th. The due date for implementation of the recommendation was 13 May. Status of implementation as June is partially implemented, funds were inadequate. So what are we voting on? Things as they were before petitions is as they are. So what we should be voting is, what have you done to help Isololo resolve this matter? And how have you resolved this matter in budget? Including indicating that the executive commitment for water has said that it's not reasonable to have more resources. The report of the Committee on Lack of Sewerage System in Sultana Mutkaskim. The due date for implementation of the recommendation was September 2023. The date passed by the Assembly. The due date was November 2023. It has been implemented, it's stick. Now, where you tell us it's partially implemented, no funds allocated. Partially implemented because some of the issues require budget line. Now, what have you done with the executive to solve the impartiality? Because it means that the report still reads as the statement was. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
So where you do not have implemented, you should be telling us where we have partial implementation of the Assembly resolution by the Department of Water and Sanitation. Then this is another recommendation that you have made. And you have met with the executive committee member and the respective members, and the one for Solomon should have told you whether there is a budget allocation of this financial. So that then you read that it was not implemented, there is a budget allocation for 1.5 million to conclude the works. So that way we will have solved the problem. So I'm afraid the motion as it is, it will take a lot of our time, and it is a summary of recommendations, and some of the recommendations were not implemented. So where will we take the recommendations from here now? Back to you again.
Sir, we had made committee recommendations on the same partially implemented projects. So may I read the recommendations of the committee?
On the partially, did you engage the executive committee member on the partially implemented?
So these were the committee recommendations on the partially implemented projects.
Yes, just read two so that we put our heads together to see whether we are in the right direction. What is?
The report on the Committee on Consideration on the Public Petition regarding interference with the Isorolo Water Project and the Kwaireli water source by a private developer in Zawe Kirili Kanamba Ward. The committee recommended that during the financial year, more funds be allocated to the projects.
Yes. You have further, I've looked at this document. What we have here is further complaints. There was a recommendation. Nothing happened. But you are reporting how the problem has not been resolved. Now, the work of the Committee on Water is to call the minister and look at how the project has been implemented. The solar system is not working, and the committee to agree with the Waziri on how that solar is going to be implemented.
Yes,
so you should be telling us whether you have engaged the respective member for Kadonzweni. He has made provisions for solar. He has made provisions for rehabilitation. It is going to be factored in the next financial year when you met, because you need to meet the Waziri and discuss all these issues with the respective members and get solutions. If it is PMC that was a problem, or management of the committee, then the recommendation should be that an election took place and a new committee was put in place. But to tell us no election has ever been undertaken and it was your recommendation, it looked like the recommendation was not implemented. Now, when you tell us that you are giving further 20 days or 30 days for that recommendation to be implemented, it doesn't change it from its original stage.
Sir, the committee found out that since most of the projects were partially implemented due to lack of funds, the committee recommended to the Budget and Appropriation Committee to ensure that during budget making process, adequate budget would be allocated to the water projects as per the scope of works, such that such projects can be fully implemented, sir.
Did you invite the executive committee member and discuss with him or her? And for example, example, if it's member from Lale Mali on that particular project X, within his budget, what he should be able to set aside or commit to set aside, so that both the member, committee, and the ECM have made a decision that is binding to that particular matter.
Not yet, sir.
So then that means that
time to do that.
yes. It means then, therefore, the executive committee member will not make a provision for budget for that. And they will say it's the responsibility of the MCA to make that budget provision. But your recommendations is not discussing member for Mali and Kabonsweni and Kehe. It is referring to a budget and appropriation committee. But remember, budget and appropriation committee, they only consider recommendations from members and executive committee members. So they have not interested, then you just indicate that the respective member gave no commitment on completion and operationalization of these projects. Two, you realize that most of these projects were subject to statement raised by members. Member Fonzo Kalamba raised issues on Isololo. Is there a budget provision now as we speak for Isololo? Yes, I am aware there is a budget provision. But you see the recommendations here, it is partial. We need to see the member who raised statement on Isololo, subsequently allocated resources. How much do you require to resolve that matter, so that either the member commits him or herself, or then we clear the matter and we say that it's up to him and his people. So that whatever you're going to approve, it will close the issues. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Fair enough?
So may we be given time to do that, sir?
Yes. That's why I wanted to take your report for an example. Being a teacher, I knew you would not take offense. You would really want us to continue and learn more from each other. Yes. So, honorable members, I asked the chairperson not to proceed with that statement, not because I've picked on the water committee, but I've read the recommendations of the progress reports in this. What they have done, they have summarized it there within 90 days, and then now they have put it in one page. To say now this one also to be done within a 90 page. So they were not done in 90 pages, 20 issues. Now they have summarized in one page to say, Waziri to do it in 90 pages. And they have never met the Waziri and discussed whether water, whether agriculture, whether roads to resolve the matter. And therefore we are pushing the problem and we have spent a lot of time. We would rather now zero down into resolving these issues.
Well, and thank you, sir.
Member from Lale Mali.
I just picked something from that debate, and specifically it's about the DTF. The Mali Sultan Municipality DTF had a budget. It was a priority project, of course, and the budget of 3 million. But this is the third quarter of the year, which is coming to an end. And with the fact that it's a priority project, it has not been procured even. So with the report without a clear guideline about the 3 million.
You are misinformed. According to this report, the report of the committee on the lack of sewerage system in Sultan Hamud and Kaske Ward. The report was approved on 25th of September. The due date to resolve the issues raised is 25th of November 2023. And the status as at 30th of June is that it's implemented. So you have a DTF. I think you are overtaken. You have a DTF.
It is better now you've identified that we have the report late on a later date, because surprisingly we don't have a DTF. We have the allocation and we don't have a DTF at Mali Sultan municipality. Of course, it was to be rehabilitated, and as I've said, it was a priority project. I expect it is as such. Thank you.
Any other member? Honorable members, honorable chairs, and in particular clerk and your team, please don't compile a summary of recommendations. When we say that once we make recommendations in the report on Mali DTF within 60 days, I'm expecting the Committee on Water should have invited the ECM and member for Kasekel to discuss how implementation on that project is going to be done and where the budget is going to be. So what you should be seeing here is a summary of all implementations. Instead of now giving status of implementation, you give us implementation on Kaskeo, the other one is Kilome, there's another one in Bitini, there's a one which has been found not to be viable, and therefore there's no need for distilling that dam. You know, a public property which was stolen, it has been recovered, or the matter is in DCI, but you can't give us another 50 days, and then 50 days. Then when will we do the recommendation for the last 5 years, what will we have? An encyclopedia of how recommendations have been carried forward. Next order. And if there are some that are in that nature, please the respective chairperson and committee clerk, can they be withdrawn? Can they find a way of looking at them so that we spare and we spend the time for the assembly wisely? I know member Fongu is waiting to hear about the kettle deep. Kettle deep grabbed. Yes. He needs to see cow swimming. Next order.
Order number 13, motion that the report of the Committee on Health Services regarding the lack of medical supplies in health facilities in the county, particularly in Ilima ward.
Proceed. Chairperson, Committee on Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this Assembly adopts a report on Committee on Health Services on statement regarding lack of medical supplies in health facilities across the county, and particularly in Ilema ward. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the 69th sitting of the County Assemblies held on Wednesday, 17th August 2024 at 2:30 p.m., Honorable Jonathan Udoka, member for...
Let me ask, Chair. Yes. One of the recommendations is that in the upcoming budget cycle, County Executive to consider increasing the budget for medical drugs from 300 million to 640. As per the attached quantities from the county health facility to enable. Where did you get this figure from? Engagement with the executive committee member?
Yes. Yes.
640?
Yeah.
Did you meet the executive committee member on this matter?
Yeah, we met.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's what we want. Yeah. So that whatever recommendation you are making here is arising from a discussion.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to start. During the 69th sitting of the County Assemblies held on Wednesday, August 2024 at 2:30 p.m., Honorable Jonathan Udoka, member of Ilima, requested for a statement regarding lack of medical supplies in all the facilities across the county, and particularly in Ilima ward, pursuant to the provision of Article 1853 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, Section 39(2) of County Government Act.
Chairperson, first with moving the motion.
I said it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this Assembly adopts the report on the Committee on Health Services on statement regarding lack of medical supplies in health facilities across the county and particularly in Lima Ward. Mr. Speaker, during the 69th sitting on the County Assembly on Wednesday, 7th August 2024 at 2:30 p.m., Honorable Jonathan Muboka, member for Lima, requested for a statement regarding the lack of medical supplies in health facilities across the county and particularly in Lima Ward, pursuant to the provision of Article 185.3 of the Constitution of Kenya, 210, Section 39.2 of the County Government Act 2012, revised 2020, the standing orders 50 of Makueni County Assembly standing orders. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member requests for clarification on the following. Whether the department was aware that of shortages of in the health facilities. One, if yes, what was the cause of the lack of supplies? And when did the department last requisition for the supplies? Attach evidence. Two, if no, what was the cause of the lack of communication so that the residents know how to prepare when seeking treatment?
Honorable Matters,
B, yes,
from where you are reading,
yes,
unless you go straight to findings and recommendations, you have 5 minutes to go. Unless you go to page 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the advice, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to go straight to the committee findings. Mr. Speaker, the committee made the following findings. One, that there was an inadequate budget of medical trunks, hence inadequate supplies in the health facilities. And two, that there has been a gap in the supply of medical trunks from the quarter to another, hence one quarter to another, hence causing inconveniences to patients as they lack medicine in health facilities for a period of close to 30 days. Committee recommendations. The committee recommended that one, in the upcoming budgeting cycle 2025-2026, the committee executive should consider increasing the budget for medical trunks for Kenya shillings 300 million to 640 million as per the attachment quantified needs for the county health facilities to be able to operate for a full financial year without lack of medical trunks. Two, that the department should adhere to the plan provided for the month before the end of each quarter, failure to which executive committee member shall be held responsible for any delays. Acknowledgement. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the committee, we wish to extend our sincere gratitude to the office of the Speaker and that of the clerk for the support offered to the committee. And on behalf of this committee, Committee on Health Services, I hereby present the report to the County Assembly for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I therefore call Honorable Kamula to second this report.
Honourable members, I propose the question that the Assembly adopts the report of the committee, the health officers regarding lack of medical supplies in the facilities in the county, particularly in my ward, laid on the table of the Assembly, 19th of November 2024. The floor is open. Mover of the motion. Honourable members, I put the question that the Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Health Services regarding the lack of medical supplies in the health facilities in the county, particularly Limba Ward, on the table of the Assembly on 19th of November 2024. Will as many as of our opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, that report will be conveyed to the Department on Health Services, to the Governor and the Deputy Governor and the Minister for Finance. Honorable members, that marks the end of business today. Allow me to take this moment to exceptionally commend you and to speak my heart that looks like we didn't have a problem in quorum. So then the quorum problem may not be within. Yes, so it looks very peaceful. So Honorable Manso, your presence brings a lot of peace. I know you have a meeting after this, which you will chair, but I want to commend members for taking time to participate in this business. I like your commitment, and when our brothers will resume, we will just ask them to learn from us kindly and copy from the team that was there. We can do other things better than them. And while they are away, a lot of business was considered. Leadership is every leadership is extreme minority whip is present. You are here. Yeah. And the speaker is here. The deputy speaker is around. The wiper leadership is ably represented by Honorable Manzo. You know, once you aspire, you attend serious meetings. The majority whip is present. Leader of minority is present. So the leadership is not about leadership. It's about our colleagues. So when they come, they need to learn from those. Honorable members, time now being 5 p.m. The House stands adjourned until tomorrow, 25th of February 2025 at 09:30 hours.